This is All Out Politics, news, debate and opinion today from Brussels at the last summit before the UK triggers Article 50. Mrs May pledged again to do it before the end of the month. Well, Jarosław Walesa, here with me, is a Polish MEP. His father, Lech, led the country to freedom from communism. Eva Kaili is a Greek socialist MEP. And Philippe Lambert from Brussels is a co-leader of the Green and European Free Alliance in the European Parliament. Welcome to you all. I'll start with you, Philippe. I mean, are you just getting a bit fed up with this Brexit British business and wish we'd just go away?
Well, we'd better not be fed up with it because it has yet to begin. So there's been a lot of talk, but no negotiations yet. So we are expecting the triggering, and then serious business will start. And yes, I would have preferred the UK to stay in. And especially as I've been busy on financial regulation, you know, I found myself quite often on the same side of the argument as the United Kingdom. So I'm losing an ally. Maybe not on capping bankers' bonuses, but on most of the rest, we stood side by side. And so I'll miss the UK. But, well, let's see how we can arrange a peaceful transition.
Ava, I mean, a lot of people say it's being dragged out unnecessarily. Do you think it is?
Well, I guess that the UK had to get its acts together. No one, and I really insist on that, no one, including Nigel Farage, expected the Brexit camp to win. So they were taken by surprise and they had to prepare. I recognize that, but now we better start getting serious.
Eva, what do you think?
Well, I think, first of all, that we need to have a good relationship with Britain. So I would prefer a soft exit. I wanted the UK to remain. And a lot of Greeks are staying there, and they also voted to remain. So I do hope that we'll manage to work together in a good cooperation, at least. And with what's happening in the US and around the world, I think we have to stick together. And already we didn't have lots of things like that we disagreed with UK. We had wherever you wanted, you stayed away. So I think that nothing will change a lot. The only thing that I think we should see what's happening is the guarantee of the rights of the European citizens. I do hope this will be out of the table of the discussion and everything will work out fine. So I'm trying to remain optimistic. I don't like the results.
A bit of a backlash, though, in Poland, both against the EU and worries about Brexit.
Of course, we all worry about Brexit. The most important part about the whole thing is we have to remain civilized. And whatever happens, we're going to have a relationship with the UK. And we have to make sure that this relationship is based on a common understanding and trust that we want to share common beliefs and common ideas. Because even with the Brexit, I don't feel that in the UK people will start to worship some different gods of modern world. So most important, we have to take our time, set our ducks in order, make sure that everything is addressed. We have to obviously tackle the problem of the common market, how is it going to be accessed by the UK citizens, and to what regard this is going to stay in place.
Take this issue of EU citizens currently in the UK citizens currently here. Both sides keep on saying this isn't a problem, it ought to be solved. But it isn't solved. Why is that? Do you worry that Polish workers in the UK could actually end up becoming bargaining chips in this process?
They are already, I think. I mean, it seems that it is a bargaining chip, and it is a serious issue. If it was so easy to resolve this problem, then we would have it finished already. But
one side or the other could make a unilateral gesture, but they won't.
Of course they will. For now, Brussels and London, we all sort of take a step back and we see where we are and what our positions should be. It's the starting points. And the end result, that's a different story. But for now, we sort of try to figure out...
But there is a big sequencing problem, isn't there, Philippe Lambert? I mean, you know, which do you do first? You do the money first, you do the rights of existing citizens, or do you just put it all in the air for the next 2 years?
Well, I think that the choice that has been made is that we don't start piecemeal negotiations before the triggering of the Article 50. And I think that was a healthy attitude. No negotiation before the notification, but the notification is now near. As far as I'm concerned, I think that this should be a priority issue, because indeed people need to be reassured on both sides. on both sides. So both British citizens on the continent and EU citizens in Britain, because it's about people, it should be given priority. The money, that's part of the discussion, but anyway, it pertains to commitments beyond 2019. And so, well, we have some time to resolve those issues. If we could make the people issue one of the priority items, I think it would be just fine.
I mean, Eva Kaili, at the end of it, it could result in people being deported, you know, British pensioners being told to leave Greece and Greeks being told to leave the UK.
Well, I hope and I think not, because that was not why the UK voted to leave. So that was not the reason. It was not the European citizens. I think it was globalization.
But there was a concern about freedom of movement.
There was a concern,
and this could be part of it, couldn't it?
True, but I don't think the existence, at least citizenships that were given will change, and that people that work in UK will leave, because this is what moves the economy also of UK, and especially London. And also, I don't know if you know, but the strategic investment plan of Juncker, which was the first part, 170 billion euros, the most benefited country was UK. And this plan is continuing for another 5 years. And it's about another 350
I want to get onto the money in just a moment, but I'm concerned about this freedom of movement thing, because another issue or a thing that's being said in the discussion in Britain is actually the rest of Europe is going to end up in a position where freedom of movement is going to be practically curtailed anyway, and it already is.
Well, actually, there are worrying signs indeed, because you spoke about deportation. What I do already notice right now is that in countries such as mine, in Belgium, we are actually terminating residence rights of EU citizens because, indeed, they are out of work. And so I see Spanish citizens being, well, gently but firmly pushed out of Belgium, regardless of the fact that we have freedom of circulation and installation. So indeed, what I see is that on the continent, some of the 27 member states would like to use the Brexit opportunity to curtail freedom of circulation in Europe. And that's really worrying. And I'd like, well, my group will make sure that we avoid falling into that pitfall. To us, the freedom of circulation, freedom of installation of people is really at the heart of the European project.
Because it's not just a question of EU citizens in UK, but it's also the citizens of UK traveling and being able to work in European Union. So it's a very complex issue, but both sides have to understand that we have to resolve it in a peaceful and proper manner.
Okay, so that's the first problem. Second problem is the money, what some people, Eva, are calling the divorce settlement. Now you're making the point that even after Britain leaves, supposedly, according to the timetable, in 2 years' time, Britain will still be getting benefits. So the corollary of that is it should go on paying.
I don't know. They have to find, common understanding there too, because you cannot be benefited by the European funding. You have Bristol, where Airbus, for example, has huge investment paid by the European funding. So I think they know that it's a benefit for them to keep on having a good relation with the EU. So this is a part of the discussion that you have to take under consideration in the UK. So, I think we will find a proper way to move on. We just started discussing about it.
Now, what do you think would be a sort of reasonable price of exit in terms of the ongoing programs and our obligations?
Well, quite obviously beyond the
2020,
date, beyond 2020, the United Kingdom will no longer be part of the European Union unless something special happens. But okay, I make that assumption. And of course, any commitment taken beyond that date does not involve the United Kingdom yet. Until that date, commitments have been made and will be made, of which the the United Kingdom is part of, and therefore, well, the part that is allocated to the United Kingdom, both on the receiving end and on the paying end, should be respected. And indeed, it will take a while after Brexit to terminate these commitments.
I mean, this rough figure of 60 billion euro, does that sound sensible to you?
It sounds sensible. It's not such a big deal, I would say. If you compare that to the GDP of the United Kingdom, I think we are speaking about, what, 3% or even less of the United Kingdom GDP. So that shouldn't be too much of a worry. But again, we should be fair. I mean, look at the commitments, and indeed, if commitments have been made, well, they should be honored, and I know that Britain's recognized it.
I mean, you can see those as a politician. I mean, it could be a problem saying we voted to leave, but we've got to hand over 60
Well, but the commitments have been made, so obviously, even after the 2020, the United Kingdom will have to secure certain funding to make sure that
I mean, Boris
pensions
Johnson's or our
are still
foreign
being
secretary is
paid.
already saying Mrs May should be like Margaret Thatcher and say, I'm not paying.
Yeah, okay.
No, but
Well, I wouldn't
should be
pay
a
too much
case.
attention to the declaration of this politician. I mean, anything that is excessive is irrelevant, and I'm listening to Theresa May. I'm not so much listening to the extremists that may sit on her cabinet. I perfectly understand the inner political reasons why she took them on board, but I think that she's in charge, and I will listen to her. And we should not get overly excited because, you know, there are extremists on the continent as well. And if we let the negotiation be driven by these kind of people and these kind of statements, I don't think that we will get in a very good place. So we should keep cool and start negotiating.
Perfect note on which to end. Thank you
Thank you
all very much
so
indeed.
Much.